More windows. The Windows clipboard is a temporary storage area that is always available when you want to transfer data during a Windows session. This means you have the ability to copy or move information from one program to another. Data that is moved, oftentimes referred to as cutting, or copied onto the clipboard, remains there until its contents are cleared by cutting or copying a different piece of information to the clipboard, or when you exit the Windows program. Since the last information that was cut or copied to the clipboard remains in the clipboard, you can copy or paste the same data anytime you want, as many times as needed. How you cut or copy information onto the clipboard depends on whether the application is a Windows or non-Windows application program, whether or not the application is running in a window or full screen, and what mode your system is running in, Real, Standard, or 386 Enhanced. With Windows application programs like PageMaker, Word for Windows, the Write or Paint program that comes with Windows 3.1, you can cut or copy selected information onto the clipboard with ease. You can also copy an image of the entire desktop or single window for any application that is running in the window. With non-Windows applications that are running in a window on the desktop, you can copy selected information, the entire desktop, or a single window onto the clipboard. You should note that you can only run non-Windows applications inside a window when you are running Windows in the 386 Enhanced mode. For non-Windows applications running in a full screen mode, you can only copy the entire screen onto the clipboard. As you may have guessed, the clipboard is most powerful and easiest to use when you are running Windows applications programs. To cut or copy selected information from a Windows application program, we will use the program PageMaker to illustrate our example. First, we must select the information we want to cut or copy by pointing, clicking, and dragging the desired text area in the PageMaker publication. Then select the Edit menu. Click on Copy or Cut. Copy will leave the original text intact. Choosing Cut will remove the text from the publication. We will select Copy, since we want to leave the original text in place. To confirm the presence of this information, select the Minimize button in the far upper right-hand corner of the PageMaker window. Now select Window from the Program Manager. Click on Main. Now click on Clipboard. The text we had copied should now appear. You should note that if you had exited the PageMaker program instead of clicking on the Minimize icon, the clipboard contents will still be there, and you will still be able to paste your previously selected text. From here, click on the Minimize icon of the clipboard window. Now double-click on the PageMaker icon at the bottom of the screen. We now have another program. In our case, we will copy the information to another PageMaker publication. We will select File from the menu and then Open. In our system, we will open a file called Brochure. Select the Text tool and place the I-beam where you want the copied text to go. Then select the Edit menu and click on Paste. Our data stored in the clipboard is now in our new document. Please keep in mind this is our example. You may have other Windows programs, Microsoft Word or others available on the market. If you need to copy information from a non-Windows program, you must first access the program you want to copy or move data from through the Windows program. Access the Windows menu selection. Click on Non-Windows Applications. In our case, we will be selecting Lotus 123. Our goal will be to copy some information from Lotus 123 to WordPerfect. We are assuming that both Lotus 123 and WordPerfect are operating in a full screen mode. We will now retrieve a data file in Lotus 123. By pressing the Print Screen key on your keyboard, we will be copying the information on the screen to the clipboard. If you later discover that this procedure does not work for you, try holding down the Shift or Alt key while pressing the Print Screen key. This method will not allow us to move information, only copy it, and we can only copy one screen at a time. If you need to copy an entire document from WordPerfect to Lotus, you may find it easier to use other methods within the Lotus and WordPerfect programs. Once the data has been copied to the clipboard, simply exit the Lotus 123 program. Now access the WordPerfect program. In our case, we're going to retrieve the clipboard data onto a blank WordPerfect screen by pressing and holding down the Alt key while pressing the Escape key. This will bring you out of WordPerfect temporarily. Now press Alt and Escape again. Notice the WordPerfect icon at the bottom of the screen. Click on that icon once. Select Edit, then Paste. The clipboard contents will now be copied onto the WordPerfect screen. Double-click on the WordPerfect icon. You will have to do some editing to eliminate any undesired text. This procedure cannot be done in reverse. In other words, Lotus 123 cannot handle any more than 240 characters of text from the clipboard for version 2.2 or earlier. Version 3.0 or higher can handle up to 512 characters, however. If you do need to copy information from a program onto Lotus 123, we recommend using other alternative methods within Lotus and the other program you are using. You should also note that both WordPerfect and Lotus 123 have released a version designed to operate in the Windows environment, making this task much easier. In the next portion, we will show you how to copy information from a windowed non-Windows application. In order to have a windowed non-Windows application, you must have a 386 computer with at least 2 megs of RAM, or in other words, be operating in the 386 enhanced mode. You may refer to our Windows Level 1 video for instructions on how to make a non-Windows application program work within a window on a permanent basis. For the purposes of this presentation, we have gone ahead and made the program WordPerfect a windowed program by pressing the Alt key plus the Enter key to create a temporary windowed environment. In the windowed environment, we do not have to copy the entire window. We can select only the text we need. To select the text you need copied, click and drag the pointer over a desired area. This should highlight the text to be copied. Now click on the Control menu box in the far upper left-hand corner of the WordPerfect window. Select Edit, then Copy. Click on the Minimize button of the WordPerfect window. Access the right program from the Accessories window. Select Edit, then Paste. You should see the pasted text appear in the right document. With these skills, you now have the capability to copy and, in the case of Windows programs, cut and copy information from any program to almost any other program. The next topic of discussion involves better desktop management. To refresh your memory, the desktop is the entire screen for which you can arrange and rearrange your windows in any fashion you desire. If you have a favorite configuration, you can save it so that when you access the Windows program, that configuration always appears. In other words, let's say we want to have the non-Windows Applications window to occupy the entire screen or desktop. To do so, simply click on the Maximize button in the upper right-hand corner of the non-Windows Application window like this. If we want this to be permanent configuration every time you access Windows, click on the Options menu. Select Save. Now click on the File menu. Click on Exit, then click on OK. Now access the Windows program again. See how the non-Windows Applications window appears exactly how it was when we left the program. Let's try some different configurations now. Select the window menu choice. Click on Cascade. The various Windows groups should now be cascaded on the desktop. If they aren't, You should notice some icons at the bottom of the page. Double-click on each of these icons. Now click on the Windows menu choice again. Click on Cascade. See the difference? Once again, how you arrange or rearrange the desktop is totally up to you. There are no right or wrong configurations, only configurations that are appropriate for you. As another example, we will rearrange the desktop so that the Windows clock is displayed on the screen. Click on the window menu choice. Select Accessories. Double-click on Clock. The Windows clock now appears on the screen. To resize the clock, place your pointer on the upper right-hand corner of the clock window. Hold down the left mouse button while dragging the mouse towards the lower left-hand corner of the clock window. If you remember, this procedure is called click and drag. See how the window resizes to your needs. When you like the size, simply release the mouse button. Now click and hold down the left mouse button on the blue bar of the clock window. Drag the clock window to the lower section of the desktop. To remove the clock, click on the Control menu again. Select Close. With all the various group windows cascaded on the desktop, moving from one to another is easy. Simply click on the title bar of the window you wish to become active. In our case, we will click on the Accessories window. If you want the Accessories window to cover the entire desktop, click on the Maximize button in the upper right-hand corner of the Accessories window. To return to the cascaded desktop configuration, click on the double arrow in the upper right-hand corner. Now click on the Window menu. Select Tile. See how the windows are rearranged? If you'll notice, the active window is the one in which the title bar is highlighted. If you click on the Minimize button of the active window, it will be reduced to an icon at the bottom of the screen. Now click on the Minimize button of the new active window. Continue this procedure until all of the windows are reduced to icons at the bottom of the screen. Windows will also let you run more than one program at one time. Point down to the Accessories icon and double-click on it. We are going to open up the Write and the Paintbrush programs so that they are running at the same time. Double-click on the Write program icon. This opens up that program. Let's resize this window by placing the pointer in the upper left-hand corner on the right window, as we are doing here. Click and drag the window to the lower right corner of the window. This reduces the size of the window and exposes the Accessories window again. Now double-click on the Paintbrush program icon. It appears as if the Write program has disappeared. Now resize the Paintbrush window by placing the pointer in the upper right-hand corner, clicking and dragging it to the lower left. Now click on the Minimize button of the Accessories window. Then click the Minimize button of the Program Manager window. You should now see both the Write and Paintbrush programs on the screen. Now you can resize or move the windows to your needs as we are doing here. You should note that only one of the applications can be active at one time. Once again, the active window is the one with the highlighted blue title bar. To switch to the other window, simply move the pointer to that window and click once. Another method of switching is to place the pointer in a blank desktop area and double-click. A task list window will appear, allowing you to switch programs. To switch to another program, simply click on the program you wish to switch to and then click on the Switch to button. This is a nice feature, especially if you have 3 or 4 applications running at the same time. Keep in mind, if you are running in the 386 Enhanced mode, you will have the capability to open more than one non-Windows application at the same time as well. Just make sure that the non-Windows programs have been windowed using the Windows PIF editor. Now on to the help system in Windows. First, let's exit from the Write and Paintbrush programs. Click on the File menu in the Write program. Select Exit. Now do the same thing for the Paintbrush program. Double-click on the Program Manager icon at the bottom of the screen. Now click on the Help menu selection. To ascertain which mode you are operating in, click on the selection About Program Manager. This will indicate if you are in the Real, Standard, or 386 Enhanced mode. If you think you should be in the 386 Enhanced mode but the system is indicating Standard, check to make sure that you do not have any RAM resident programs running, like a communication program or a smart drive program. The elimination of these programs from RAM will probably free up the necessary memory to operate in the 386 Enhanced mode. Now click on OK. Select Help again. You have several categories to choose from. If you need help using the Help feature, select Using Help. You will notice a menu system in the Help window. Selecting File will allow you to print any help topic you need for later reference. To exit Help, access the File menu. Select Exit. Now reselect Help for the menu again. One of the first things you will notice is the phrase Scroll Bar written in green. Move your pointer to that area. You will see the pointer change into a hand icon. Click and hold down the left mouse button on this phrase. A box will pop up explaining what a scroll bar is. Releasing the mouse button will return you to the Help window. Using the scroll bar on the right side of the Help window, click on the arrow down icon in the lower right-hand corner. This advances you down the Help window. Of course, you can readjust the size of the window as well. As you advance down the screen, you will see more topics that are written in green. Pointing to these green topics will once again cause the pointer to change into a hand pointer. Click on the first selection. To get back to the original Help screen, click on the back icon at the top of the Help window. Now click on the next selection. From here, let's say you wanted to write a note to yourself that would further explain this topic. Click on the Edit menu. The first selection on this list is for copying help information to the Windows clipboard for pasting to another document. The annotation is an area where you would write a note to help you out in the future. We're going to type this message, "This is a good idea." Now click Save. You should see a paperclip icon appear in the window. This serves as a reminder that you have an annotation written. To quickly access the note, click on the paperclip icon once. After reading the message, click Save. If you need general help on some portion of the Windows program, like Paintbrush, for example, click on the File menu. Select Open. You will see a list of topics to choose from. Double-click on Paintbrush Help. To exit Help, select the File menu, then click on Exit. The next section of this video will deal with the more advanced memory management capabilities of Windows, which will allow you to optimize your system. Typically, this involves improving some aspects of your computer system while sacrificing other areas. How you optimize your system depends on your needs. Three factors figure into the equation here. First, there is speed. Configuring your system for best speed allows for a faster startup for your applications, quicker response time to carry out a task, and redisplay of a window. Second is your system memory capacity. This will determine if you can run in the 386 Enhanced mode, how many applications can be run at the same time, and how much data can an application store at one time. The third factor is disk space. The amount of disk space can affect your hard disk speed and efficiency. In some cases, application programs will need extra storage space to store temporary files while they run. Also, in the 386 Enhanced mode, Windows can use some of the available disk space to increase the system's memory capacity through the use of swap files. To operate your system at the best speed, you should consider running only one application at a time, and in addition, you may want to check your config sys file to see if the Smart Drive program has been installed. It is normally installed as part of the Windows installation procedure. This program will increase the speed of your hard drive. Some programs, like PageMaker for example, can dramatically benefit from Smart Drive. The disadvantage of Smart Drive is that it will take away some of your available memory. You can begin to see that optimizing your computer is a series of give and take. Probably the most important factor is the system memory configuration. To help understand how to properly configure memory, you have some idea of which applications you run most frequently, how many, and which applications do you want to run at the same time, and how much data do you need to retrieve into memory for each application. If you recall, memory provides temporary storage for all application and operating system programs and their associated data. It exists inside your computer system and is something that is relatively easy to increase. All applications must be loaded into memory in order to run. The more memory you have, the more applications you can run simultaneously. Conventional memory exists on all 8088, 286, 386, and 486 and Pentium-based computers. Most computers sold today come with 2 megs of memory, or RAM, as it is sometimes called. RAM is the acronym for Random Access Memory. When you start your computer system, DOS or the disk operating system will use some of this memory. Further, the commands in your config sys and autoexec bat files may use up additional conventional memory. The remainder of memory is left for your application programs like Windows, for example. Extended memory is general-purpose RAM that acts as an extension of the conventional 640K that comes with your computer. To use extended memory, you should install a file called an Extended Memory Manager so that your application programs do not try to use the same memory at the same time. An Extended Memory Manager is required to run Windows in the standard or 386 enhanced mode. Windows includes an Extended Memory Manager file called -sys. You should note, however, that some non-Windows applications programs are not designed to use extended memory. Expanded memory exists separately from your system's conventional and extended memory and could be installed as an expansion board inside your computer. To use expanded memory, you must also install a special expanded memory expansion board, or you can use the Expanded Memory Manager that comes with DOS. Once again, like extended memory, some programs are not necessarily designed to use expanded memory. Lotus 123 versions 3.0 through 4.0 are a good example. Because expanded memory managers offer only a limited amount of expanded memory at one time, this type of memory is slower than extended memory. It is for this reason that Windows does not use expanded memory except when operating in the real mode, although Windows will simulate expanded memory if it is needed when in the 386 enhanced mode. The most appropriate memory configuration for you depends on the type of computer you have. That is, do you have a 286, 386, 486, or Pentium computer, and which Windows mode you use, and what are the memory requirements of your application's programs. To operate Windows in the 386 enhanced mode, you must have a 386 computer with at least 2 megs of memory, although more is recommended. If you have a 386 with less than 2 megs of RAM, or a 286 computer with at least 1 meg of RAM, you will be operating in the standard mode. The older 8088 and 8086 computers will run in the real mode. The 386 enhanced mode offers us some distinct advantages. We know, for example, that when operating in this mode, we have the capability to run more than one non-Windows application at the same time by converting these applications to a windowed configuration. In addition to this capability, Windows also permits the creation of what is referred to as a swap file. Windows will use a swap file on your hard disk to swap information from memory to the hard disk. There are 3 types of swap files: permanent, temporary, and application. A permanent swap file needs to be created and stays on the hard drive until you remove it. A temporary swap file is created each time you start Windows and is erased when you exit Windows. You do not have to do anything to create or turn it on. An application swap file is only used if you are operating in the real or standard mode. It is a temporary swap file that is automatically created when you access a non-Windows application program. Permanent swap files are the most advantageous. They operate faster than their temporary counterpart. The disadvantage is that it takes up a fairly large amount of disk space, about 4 megs. To create a permanent swap file, exit the Windows program and then re-access the program again by typing win/r. This will gain access to the Windows program in the real mode. Now click on the File menu. Select Run. Type in Swap File and press Enter or click on OK. A swap file dialog box should now appear. As you can see, Windows gives you a recommended swap file size of about 4 meg or 4096K. If you are comfortable with that size, simply click on Create. If you would rather create a smaller swap file, click on the arrow down key next to the recommended swap file size box. Keep in mind, this is for 386 Enhanced Mode users only. If you are operating in the real or standard mode, an application swap file is created automatically when you access a non-Windows application. If you have just created the permanent swap file, exit Windows and restart as you normally would to get back into the 386 Enhanced Mode. Learning to use the power of Windows not only increases your own productivity, but as more and more software is designed specifically to take advantage of Windows, your experience will become even more valuable.